Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrindam Vrindam Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrindam Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya So the Chaitanya Charitamrita, written by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, dedicates the 6th chapter to Advaita Acharya. And in it there it says he is called Advaita because he is non-different from Krishna. And he is called Acharya because he teaches by example. And he was born in 1438 and lived all the way till 1559. That's 121 years later. He appeared like 50 years before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he's a member of the Panchatattva. Who can name one of the people in Panchatattva? Who? Nityananda. Who else? Chaitanya. Who else? Srivas. Who else? What, and which is the one that begins with a G? Gadadhar. Okay. Now, Srivas Thakur is the Jiva, Narada Muni. We have the Panchatattva both in Mayapur and Laguna Beach. And someone like Bhakti Chaitanya Swami, you see, he has a special affinity for Advaita Acharya. And Tukaram, the temple president at Laguna, he's very good at lecturing about this. So they could lecture much better than I can. But if you even get a drop of that nectar, it's still enough. Just a drop of this understanding. And that's why we all have to learn to speak something. And the good part about speaking is that Krishna has to help us. So, Srivas is the only jiva. Gadadhar is Radharani with the luster taken away by Krishna, because Krishna comes himself as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Normally, a Vishnu incarnation comes in the Kali Yuga to give the Yuga Dharma. So, Lord Balaram is the first expansion of Krishna. Krishna is the original. What? Up here? You can't hear it? You can hear it now? Okay. Swayam Rupa is Krishna, the original. Swayam Prakash is Balaram, the first expansion. Advaita is Mahavishnu. But we think, what's Mahavishnu's position compared to these others? Gadadhar is Radharani, the internal potency of Krishna. Krishna is the Swayam Rupa, the original form of God. It says in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Ete Chamsha Palam Kusham, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, that there's so many incarnations and expansions, but Krishna is the original. And Swayam Prakash Balaram is the first expansion. From Balaram comes Vasudev. From Vasudev comes Sankarshan. Sankarshan Aniruddha. And from Aniruddha Pradyumna. And from Pradyumna there's another Sankarshan, and then there's Mahavishnu. So Mahavishnu is way down the line from Krishna. So why would we be giving Advaita Acharya some special recognition when he's way down the line from Krishna and Balaram? Anybody have an idea? Who can say something? What would be special? If we have the microphone there somewhere, take the microphone. I want to hear from people what they think. Why is Advaita Acharya special? I want you all to say something. Okay?
On Mataji's behalf, he prayed to Lord Chaitanya he prayed for the conditioned souls and appealed to the Lord to appear on this planet.
But why would Mahavishnu be able to do that better than Balaram or Radharani? Why is that? Wouldn't the closer expansions be better? Who has an answer to that? Saying he prayed for the conditioned soul, but why not Balaram? He's the first expansion of Krishna. Or why not Krishna just comes himself? Or Radharani, the internal potency? Ravindra, do you have an answer? Someone else? Someone have an idea? No idea? Do you think it's strange that Mahavishnu is given this kind of special recognition amongst those that are the original personality of Godhead and the first expansion? Is this strange? Would they be more qualified to bring Krishna? Wouldn't Nityananda, being Balaram, be more qualified to pray to Krishna to come? Why is it that Advaita is so special in offering this prayer? Does anybody have an idea? You think it's a mistake? Is it a mistake? Or is there a special purpose for Advaita? Yes? Make a comment. Let's hear more.
You see, I suppose he's the eldest.
Oh. He's going to fix that. Okay, what is the answer?
I don't know. I'm trying. I think because he's the eldest, Prabhu.
Is what?
He's the oldest.
He's the oldest, but aren't they all eternal? They come in different times. If it's older, then isn't Balaram older than that and Krishna older than that because they're the first? So why would Advaita be qualified to do this? Why would Advaita be able to help out the fallen souls? Anybody else reckon an idea? Sridharvata, you have an idea? So is it a mistake that it's Advaita? No? You have no evidence to say why it's not a mistake? Would anyone be interested to know something why? Because it's true that Radharani is the internal potency, Krishna is Swayam Rupa, the original form, and Balaram is the first expansion. But you know, they're so busy in the these material universes. They asked Prabhupada once, they said the scientists say that they could see the suns from other Brahmandas. Does that mean that the coverings of the universe are subtle? And they say that they can see, like, the visible universe would be like 90 billion light years away. And a light year is like 9 trillion kilometers. Let's call it 10. Let's say 100 million instead of 90. So it's 9 trillion times. So it would be trillion is 1,000 million billion trillion. We have 12 zeros. So then we add 1,000 million billion trillion. Then 1,000 million billion. Now we have 21 zeros, 121 zeros. That many kilometers away. In other words, if you're traveling at 300,000 kilometers a second, and you went for 90 billion years, you would reach the edge of what they can see in the material universes, which may not be all they can see, but if it is, it's only 1/4. So what's going on in the spiritual world, because the Krishna Loka planet is the biggest, but Krishna and Balaram and Radharani are involved in the intimate pastimes in this world. Who creates the material universe? Says Advaita Acharya is Mahavishnu, and he is the cause of this material universe. He lies down, it's up here on the ceiling, on the causal ocean, and universes come out of his body. So Vishnu is Krishna who interacts with the material world. Just like if you're in the prison, would you try to impress the president of the country or the warden of that prison? The warden is in touch with you. He's at the prison, but he's not a prisoner. So the same way, Vishnu is in the material world, but he's not of the material world. But because he puts the living entities in the material world, he understands the plight of the living entities, because he directly interfaces with them. So he puts them here, he understands their plight, and usually in this age, Vishnu, who comes as Advaita, would be the Yuga avatar. He would teach the chanting of the holy names, but only up to the level of Vaikuntha. But in this age, Advaita Acharya knew that Lord Chaitanya, see, here's the difference. Lord Chaitanya wanted to come because he wanted to experience Radha Bhava Duti Sulavitam. He wanted to understand the mood and color of Radharani, and he wanted to come to this world to understand that. So Advaita knew that. So he thought, why don't I pray for Krishna to come at the same time and let him introduce the Yuga Dharma all the way up to the highest rasas, the Mathurya rasa. So he was worshiping, you know, Advaita means he's Mahavishnu and Sadashiva. Sadashiva is not Shiva. Sadashiva is Vishnu worshiping himself in the spiritual world. So here is Advaita worshiping Krishna in the Shaligram Shila, And he's offering tulsi leaves and water. And as he's saying things like, well, I sort of kind of think it would be kind of nice if you sort of maybe came to the material world and sort of helped out the jivas. He's saying, no, Krishna, you come yourself. You come and help these fallen. Only you can help them. You please come. And he's making such fervent prayers that Krishna can hear it in the spiritual world. Because you see, Krishna listens to Mahavishnu. Because Mahavishnu takes charge of the whole material world, which we know is at least 90 billion times 9 trillion kilometers. That's big space, right? We know it's that big, and he takes care of all of it. So he's praying like that for Lord Chaitanya to come. Now, Lord Chaitanya is called the Patit Pavana, that he comes to deliver the fallen souls. And he comes to give so many things. But because the cause of him coming is Advaita Acharya, Advaita Acharya is the intermediary who brings the original form of Krishna, the Swayam Rupa, to this world to save the conditioned souls and to teach the higher rasas. So whether you think that Lord Chaitanya came here just to deliver mukti, or whether you think Lord Chaitanya came to deliver the chanting of the holy names, or whether you think Lord Chaitanya came here to teach Braj Bhakti, or whether you think Lord Chaitanya came to teach Krishna Prema, or if you think he came to teach Radha Bhava as a manjaris, whatever it is, you owe that to Advaita for bringing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here. Just like the spiritual master. He may not be God, but he introduces you to God. But then once he introduces you to that, you don't need him anymore? Is that it? Or do we still have Prabhupada here? Do we still appreciate these via mediums? So Advaita fervently prayed for this, and he wanted Krishna to come in the original form. So whatever reason you think Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, we owe it to Advaita for providing Mahaprabhu to come. It's on the schedule, but you say, Krishna, you're not keeping your schedule now, right? Like if you have a list of things for Krishna to do, does he have to follow that? No. It takes the interest of his devotees. It's like George Carlin. You see people get things through Prabhupada's book. When I was watching one lecture on the YouTube, the commercial came for the lipstick called Infallible. I think they had to get that name from Prabhupada's books because people think of many terms, but infallible. Where else have you heard that word used except in Prabhupada's books? Infallible. So we see that these terms come out, the infallible. And so Advaita is bringing this to us. He's the one we have to thank for this. And Lord Chaitanya appreciates him because in our disciplic succession, Madhavendra Puri was the first one who introduced the worship of Radha and Krishna together. It's mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Radhitam, and it's mentioned that. But to understand that Radharani is the female potency of God, this is something that he introduced. And he initiated people like Ishvar Puri, and Ishvar Puri initiated Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he is on the level of Chaitanya's guru. So Chaitanya always thought of him as the guru and the supreme personality of Godhead. And he was always coming to grab his lotus feet. And because Advaita is 50 years older and Chaitanya had the long arms, he could get to Advaita's feet quicker than he could get there quicker than Advaita could could stop him. And he's always saying, you are the personality of Godhead. But Advaita is thinking, I'm the servant of Lord Chaitanya, the servant of Lord Chaitanya, and the servant of his servants. So if you tell someone they're your servant and they touch your feet, do you feel funny? Do you? If the guru comes in and touches your feet and says you're something special, would you feel funny when you're trying to show your appreciation for the guru? Should we try that? Should we have some gurus come and touch your feet and see? And go, oh, look how I am, right? That's why you see, even though when you talk about the big guy, one Christian preacher said, why can't you see God? Because he's so big, you can't get far enough away to see him. Well, that would be Mahavishnu. Because God can be bigger than the biggest and smaller than the smallest. That can't be, because that breaks the law of contradiction. But God is not subject to the law of contradiction. Just because we're subject to it doesn't mean it's not. The Jewish philosopher Moses Maimonides said that God can't be a person because a person can't be in more than one place at once. That's the law of contradiction. But Krishna can be in several places at once. He can be in several forms in the same place. Balaram, Krishna, Radharani, and Mahavishnu, all together in the Panchatattva. He can be in this form. So here is Advaita Acharya's dilemma, that he may be Mahavishnu, the personality of Godhead, but he's trying to take the humble position. And he's trying to show for us how to worship Krishna in the submissive mood. He really wants to be. He always says, I'm the servant of Lord Chaitanya, the servant of Lord Chaitanya, and the servant of his servants. So he thought, Lord Chaitanya is always glorifying me as the personality of Godhead. I want him to accept me like his student, chastise me. So, normally he would give classes on Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam in a very devotional mood, so people could understand the real meaning of it. Imagine classes by Advaita and Gadadhar. Would you think you were too busy to come to that? No. Imagine those kinds of classes. So, Advaita's thinking, well, he had a plan. There's a book called The Yoga Vashishta by Sadhananda Yogendra. It's still available on the internet, but after you hear this story, you probably won't want to order it. Anybody want to order it now? Nobody yet, and then we'll see afterwards if anybody wants to get a copy of it. So Advaita Acharya started lecturing from this. And of course, this Yoga Vashishta says it's all one, that everything is parts of the Brahman, and the living entities are the Brahman covered by Maya. And that's why we call it Mayavadi, because if Maya can cover the Brahman, then Maya's God, right? Because whatever has the supreme influence has to be the supreme, right? So if Maya can cover God, then Maya must be God. Just like the Christians say, it was amazing. Some of them say, well, God intervenes in prayers. And I said, well, when you're praying sincerely, I said, I asked God to please send me a way to develop love for him. And I got the strong inspiration that I'd heard from my friends who'd heard from devotees. If we really want love of God, we have to give up illicit sex and intoxication. So I said, all right, God, I'll give up the illicit sex and intoxication, which for a high school kid was kind of a lot. And I said, now you send me away. And the devotee came walking along. And the Christian person said, oh, well, probably the devil intervened in your prayer. I told him, really? Other people are saying, get me a car and a house, and God's responding, but I say I'm willing to give up material sinful activities to get love for him, and the devil intervenes. You're telling me that the devil is more powerful than God, and he can intervene even when you're praying sincerely. But we don't believe a devil can be more powerful from God, and neither can Maya. So when Advaita Acharya was preaching from this Yoga Vashishta, that we're all one, we're all part of Brahman, everything is God, do you think Chaitanya was A, happy with him? B, he didn't care? C, he was mildly irritated? Or D, he was very upset? What is it? Who says A, he was happy? Who says B, he didn't care? C, mildly upset? Or D, very upset? Who says D? Okay, so Chaitanya heard about this. He went to the house of Advaita. His wife Sita says, "Where's Advaita?" And he says, "Oh, he's over here." And he grabbed him and threw him on the floor. Sita said, "Don't hurt him. He's an old man. Don't hurt him." And Advaita's laughing. And Chaitanya says, "Why are you laughing? I'm punishing you." He says, "Yes, because I did that as a trick, because I'm so tired of you glorifying me as a supreme personality of Godhead that I wanted to be chastised by you." So this shows such a mood that, he wanted to be given instruction and that he wanted to accept Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the supreme. And we find that even though it's like Nityananda is avadut and he shows like the pure love of Godhead, Advaita shows it also. What Advaita is glorified in the chapter in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the chapter about Chaitanya, in the chapter about Nityananda, and in the chapter about Advaita, and of course in the chapter about Panchatattva. He's glorified in all of those. And he was a stickler for the regulations. When you want to see how to do the regulations, you see why Bhakti Chaitanya Swami, he's very good on the regulations, isn't he? That he has a special place for Advaita Acharya. But Advaita Acharya was on the regulations, not as I talk about the mortology and ontology. Mortology means the form, and ontology means the content. He didn't do it just to have the form, like Hindus do this, and Hindus don't accept Muslims, and Hindus accept the people that did it. Looked just right, right? Like if I put on a business suit and show up in a nice car, I have to be a bona fide businessman, right? If I put on a cricket uniform and I have on it the number of Sachin Tendulkar and I stand there with a bat like I know what I'm doing, I'm ready to teach, right? No, that's the form, but the content. So even though he was a stickler for the regulations and doing things right, he knew that the content was more important. So when it came time for the Shraddha ceremony for Advaita Acharya's father, he wanted to, the first prasadam is given to the best Brahmin. And they're all thinking it's going to be them. And he said the best one is Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur chanted like 333,000 names a day. That's 192 rounds. Anybody here chant that? If you chant 64 rounds, it'll take you 3 days to do that. If you chant 16, it'll take 12. So he chants as many rounds in one day as other people did. Has to be moving fast, right? The more you chant, the faster it goes. I know I've been doing 64, and if I can sit down and do like 32 without stopping, it would be a lot quicker than if I did 2 here and 2 there 16 times, right? You add up the time to it. You sit down, your mind gets concentrated. It goes quicker. And people who don't chant many rounds don't think it's possible to chant them quicker, but you can. But he wanted Haridas Thakur to take that honor. So then something that shows about the nature of Advaita Acharya. After Lord Chaitanya, he took sannyas. And it breaks the hearts of the devotees to think of Lord Chaitanya shaving off his hair and taking sannyas. It's tantamount to the Krishna leaving the gopis and gopas and his parents in Vrindavan and going to Mathura. They were totally distraught. It broke their hearts. So that's how they felt about Lord Chaitanya taking sannyas. So he was going to wander off in ecstasy to Vrindavan. He went through the area called the Radhadesh. And the Radhadesh means the area where the Ganges doesn't flow. So Nityananda and Advaita thought of a trick to bring him back and have him meet Satimata one last time, and the devotees could all see him. So Nityananda told the cowherd boys that if Lord Chaitanya asks you, where's Vrindavan? Don't tell him that. Point in the direction of the Ganges. So he started going that direction. He said, Nityananda, he says, I'm going to Vrindavan. Where is it? He says, oh, it's that way, where the cowherd boys told you. You go down there, you'll see the Jamuna River. So Lord Chaitanya got there. Sure enough, there was the river. He jumped in the river and he's offering prayers to the Yamuna River. Maybe he was singing the Yamunastikam. I can't sing it for you today, but he was offering prayers to the Jamuna, and he was so excited he didn't have a extra set of clothes. He just jumped in the Jamuna. All of a sudden, Advaita Acharya showed up in a boat. And Chaitanya says, what are you doing here in Vrindavan? He says, I came to Vrindavan and you're here in a boat. And Advaita says, no, I'm here in Sridham Mayapur. And Chaitanya says, Nityananda lied to me. He said that we were at the Jamuna River. And Advaita says, well, actually he's not lying, because on the west side, the Jamuna meets from the west side, and from the east side comes the Ganga, and they come together. So if you're on the west side, you're technically at the Jamuna River. So he didn't lie to you. And Advaita says, you know what? He says, I've cooked like just a few palmfuls of vegetables, and I would like you and Nityananda to come there and take this with me. And when he came there, there was a big metal plate, and there was 2 leaf plates, and Krishnadas Kaviraj says that each one, there was enough for 15 people to eat. And it did the math on this, because there were 3 plates, and Krishnadas Kaviraj said that the leaf plates were so big that there was enough for 5 people each. So 5 times 3 is 15. Anybody here can eat for 15 people? Maybe Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can. So Advaita told him to sit down with Nityananda, and Chaitanya says, I'm a sannyasi, I can't eat so much. And Nityananda went the other direction. He says, I've been fasting, and yet you didn't give me enough here. So what he did is he served them rice, fine white rice, and they put golden ghee in the middle of it. And then he brought out maybe 50 varieties of vegetables. And what they did is they took the stalks of banana trees big enough to hold 32 bunches of bananas, big ones. And they cut them, and inside these they made like 50 different ones for 50 kinds of vegetable and dal preparations. And they also made things like salads with ginger and spinach and sliced ginger in it. And there was also other kinds of dals. There was chopped coconut that was dipped in condensed milk and mixed with rock candy. Rock candy is the most intense kind of sugar. You have sugarcane juice, then you boil it, it becomes gur, and then it becomes molasses, then it becomes sugar, and then it becomes rock candy, the real sweet stuff. So that was in there. And then they took dal, and they would mash up the dal, and it would dry in the sun, and they would fry this, and they made cakes out of bananas, and cakes out of bread, and cakes out of dal, and then mixed some with yogurt and some with condensed milk, and they made patolas, and then there was small nimba leaves that were fried with I'm not sure what else they were fried with. Let's see. Fried with eggplant. And then they also had, different kinds of cakes mixed with condensed milk. And so as they're eating this, every time Lord Chaitanya would finish one vegetable, Advaita would immediately fill it up. And it kept going. You know, it was already enough for 15 people, but as soon as he ate it, he filled it up again. So how's he ever going to eat all this? Chaitanya says, I can't eat all this. And Advaita said, don't cheat me like this. He said, I know that you're Lord Jagannath, and in Puri, you accept 56 offerings a day. Anybody here eat 56 times a day? I guess that means you're not Lord Jagannath, right? Anybody here think they're the Lord of the universe? Who wants to volunteer to be Krishna's competitor? I can give you a big list of people who tried, but there's no list of people who succeeded. So he says, you know, don't try to cheat me in this way. You can take this prasadam to as much as you can eat. So then Nityananda became upset and says, well, I've been fasting for 3 days and you didn't make enough for me. And he threw the rice on the ground and some of it hit Advaita Acharya, contaminating him. And Advaita Acharya is dancing in ecstasy and saying, oh, look, I've been hit by the prasadam from a pure devotee. And so they started throwing at each other. And Advaita said to Nityananda, you're just a reject Paramahansa. And Nityananda saying, well, you're just a smarta Brahmin. And they were having fun in this way. And then after it was done with that, they told Haridas, come in and eat. And Mukunda says, well, I'll come right in. I just have 1 or 2 things to do. And then I'll be back. Because he didn't want to disturb the lords in their prasadam. And Haridas, of course, says, I'm too fallen. I'll eat outside. So, you know, Lord Chaitanya let him act this way. He didn't go inside the Jagannath temple. But Lord Chaitanya's Jagannath would come visit him himself. So we see it doesn't matter what family you're born in. It matters what devotional acts you do. And this is being proven why we go to the Western world. This is the problem with the caste system. People think by being born in a family, they're automatically Brahmins. Imagine if we did it that way and said, doctors are not the ones that went to school, only people born in a doctor's family. People don't go to movies that way. Amitabh Bachchan wasn't born in a movie family, but all the Indians go to see his movie. His son was born in a movie family, but he's not good, and no one goes to see his movie. So you see, they don't think of it just based on family heritage. They look at the quality. When they go to see the different actors in Bollywood, do they look more for how much they like their acting or whether they were the sons and daughters of actors? Of course, some of them become good at it. I went with Prabhupada to J. Om Prakash's house, and we made life members of people like Devanand and Rajesh Khanna, who was like the most famous one, and the 4 Kapoor brothers, who had so many actors and actresses came from them. But I had a problem with Indian movies after that, because J. Om Prakash was the Acharya of Indian movies. He said, I'll tell you the truth, Indian movies are corny, because they're ready to kill each other, but they break for a dance. Just like here, if they're going to rob the bank, do they say, we're going to rob you, but let's break for a dance, do they? No, and the police say, yes, we're going to arrest you, but first let's have a dance. So it's corny. But we see in this that after they finished resting, that they went out on the Harinama, that Advaita Acharya is the personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, and Nityananda is Balaram, and Krishna, Chaitanya is Krishna himself, and they engaged in the Sankirtan movement. We see in the painting here that here is the gopis intermingling with Krishna. So our dilemma in this world is that if we perform just the Vaidhi Bhakti, the rules and regulations, we go to Vaikuntha, not Krishna Loka. But if we imagine ourselves in a relationship with Krishna, like we think you're supposed to be the servant of the servant of the servant, the manjaris assist the gopis, and the gopis assist Radha and Krishna. You don't just show up and think you're going to put tilak and kumkum Radha and Krishna. Here I am, Radha and Krishna. Here I am, right? And they go, oh, good, you're here. No, you have to serve the servants of the servants. And so we're not qualified to go there. But if we just perform Vaidhi, we have to engage in the Lord with his activities. But the Lord as Krishna comes as Chaitanya. The Lord as Balaram comes as Nityananda. Mahavishnu comes as Advaita, and Gadadhar is Radharani with the luster removed. So when they're performing the activities of Sankirtan, we're asking Krishna to be engaged in his activities. And when Krishna wants us to engage in activities, he'll be there. You can't be a party crasher at Krishna Loka. That's the person think, okay, God, I'm meditating, here I come. Okay, move over, Krishna, here I come. It doesn't work that way. That's the ascending process. The descending process is we please Krishna, and he comes to get us. So all this was introduced by Advaita. Advaita was performing this Harinam Sankirtan way before Chaitanya came. And he thought rather than him introducing the Yuga Dharma, like he does 999 times out of 1,000, call for the original personality of Godhead. So the fact that we came this close, 500 years and some change, what was it, 1484? So that makes it what, about 541 years from now, ago? And the idea of a kalpa, that's not very long, right? But that was brought about by Advaita Acharya, Mahavishnu, praying for him to come. He could have done it like he does all the other times, but he asked for the original form of Godhead to come. And because of that, in the other Kali Yugas, they do the Harinama, but you go to Vaikuntha. And in this Kali Yuga, because Advaita asked for the original form of God, Krishna, to come, we get to go back to Krishna Loka and engage in the most intimate pastimes. And whatever pastime we're engaged in, we owe that opportunity to Advaita Acharya, because he's the one that brought it to us. He's the one that teaches us how to do the Vaidhi Bhakti, the rules and regulations, and he's the one that teaches us how to do the Raganuga Bhakti. His wife is Sitapati. She is Yogamaya. Obviously, he knows about Brajalila. And so we owe our life to Advaita Acharya. I think now it's time for the Artik ceremony. Any questions about this? Any doubt about the specialty of Advaita Acharya? Anybody that has a doubt, raise your hand. I hope that was sufficient. It wasn't what Krishna does as good as Krishna Das Kaviraj, or as good as Bhakti Chaitanya Swami or Tukaram in Laguna Beach, but I borrowed things from any of the things they would have said and passed it on. Hare Krishna. Was that okay? I don't have to take any of it back.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nittidhavine Namaste Saraswati Deve Hulavani Pracharine Ivishesha Shunyavadi Paschacharishataline Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Mehida Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Mehida Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Chant everyone louder. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya da 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 de. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jai Gora Hari, Gora Hari, Gora Hari, Jaya Gora Hari. Jaya Tunti Maharani, Jaya Tunda Devi, Sri Maharani, Jaya Veena Devi. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada.
Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad Parma Hansa Parabhajakacharya Ostatera Sata Shri Sriman. His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Parma Hansa Parabhajakacharya Ostatera Sata Shri Sriman. His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Gaudiya Vaishnavinda Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Shri Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki. Yamuna Mai Ki, Ganga Mai Ki, Tulsi Devi Ki, Bhakti Devi Ki, Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki, Sri Sri Radha Radhanath Ki, Gaura Hari Ki, Giri Govardhan Ki, Divine Appearance Day of Advaita Acharya Ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru, Sri Gauranga and Advaita. All glories to you, Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Namaste Narashingaya. Namaste Narashingaya. Pralada Radya Jashimur Vasha Srinadangana Ganaye Dore Shringo Padadore Shringo Nishringo Padano Nishringo Yato Yato Yabitano Nishringo Nishringo Vedane Nishringo Pahiri Shringo, Vidari Shringo. Dada Shringa Varim Sarada Prapade. Dabagada Kamara Vade Naga Maruta Shringa Dadida Hiranya Gashimu Dado Benga Badrina Tadahari Rupa Kedagari Shahari Kedagari Shahari Kedagari Shahari Keshavare Nada Hare Rupa Chagare Shahare Chagare Shahare Chagare Shahare Jaya Nashingare, 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 Jaya Nashingare. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Sri Lakshmi Narasimhadev Bhagwan ki, Prahlad Maharaj ki, Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu's appearance day ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Anant Koti Vaishnava ki, Vanchaka Patrubhyascha Kripa Sundhubheva Paditana Pavadavayo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Anant Koti Vaishnava ki jai.